Alright, let's do this. Hello everyone, my name is Deadman Darkling and welcome to my graveyard. Today in my coffin we are finally going to be playing Wizard of Legend, the third game in my grueling torture series. It's last because I actually have beaten this game. Only once. Gee, thanks for that other Deadman. But yeah, I've only beaten this game once. This game is really amazing and takes my favorite elements in games and puts them all in one. Pixelated? Check. Dungeon crawler? Check. Non-stop deathathon? Check. Don't you mean roguelike? This is why no one likes you. You like me. I don't really have a choice. The use of elemental attacks? Oh boy, that's all this game is about. Now, brief story summarized by Deadman. You are a wizard. You go into this museum of Lenova. You go through it and start acquiring your basic tutorial magic. I'll get into detail with those in a second, but you'll see some enemies you will be fighting, some relics you can equip, money, and of course you will see the big three you will face during these trials. Due to this new and free update that has recently came out, they added a fourth to the magic council. So blah blah, you fight some enemies, you get to the end, and this glowing coin thing blasts you into a house with talking furniture. This is, I guess, your hub world. Now let's talk about this gameplay and some of the fun stuff. In this game, you attack with magic. There are slots at the bottom. You can equip 4 different magics from 5 different elements. Wasn't there 6 slots? I mean, I'm looking at them. Well, I'm glad you asked that wonderful question. This was a setup, huh? Shut up, your part is over. The last 2 slots are for magic you find in the game throughout your dungeon crawling adventure to be top wizard. You have your basic attacks, which is your square button. These attacks require no cooldown and are 3 basic hits of any element you choose. There's fire, water, earth, lightning, and wind. Then there are your dash magic. Now these have a cooldown. Not that you can't continuously dash. It is highly useful and emphasized to dash out of sticky situations, but your dash can have elements attached to it, like dashing to have a burst of fire, leaving fireballs that blow forward fast doing small amounts of continuous damage, or leave it behind an ice clone that freezes enemies when they strike it. The dash is used with the X button. Now, onto the more stronger attacks with a longer cooldown, the standard magic attacks. These can range from dashing into an enemy and exploding into a fiery burst, to launching into the air and summoning a small whirlpool a small distance away and jumping into it causing a burst and knocking back enemies, or making you magnetic and letting each basic attack add a stone causing extra damage. They are highly useful for clearing a room, but now we can go on to the best magic that you can use. The signature magic attacks. You know they call them Arcana, right? Only Arcana I talk about is Arcana Hearts. Now, signature magic attacks are the strongest attacks with the most damage and the longest cooldowns. They range from a huge stream of ice going forward and back for excellent combo potential, also dragging the enemy with them while doing constant damage, to a huge fireball, to creating an AoE lightning field. But that's not where the fun ends. With the signature magic attacks, there is a bar right under your health that fills up the more you attack and takes longer when you're being attacked. They power up your signature magics and can add on more effects like more range, a longer attack, and more damage. Now you don't just run in with magic all alone and try to kill everything in sight. I mean, you can. That's the point of the game, right? Don't give them bad advice, other Deadman. You can also equip some relics to aid you and different robes. Now the robes aren't just different colors. They all have unique buffs and some with counter debuffs with the buffs to keep balance. In total there are 11, but after this update there are now 14. I had them all, but now I have more grinding to do, and the relics have great effects. There are offensive relics to help you with the attacks, there are defensive relics to keep you alive, and miscellaneous ones which can do random effects. Now I know there are 3 categories, but you can only take 1 into battle. Once you're in your hub world, you'll be transported to a town before starting the Chaos Trials. Here is where you can buy new magic, Arcana, whatever, relics, robes, and now you can buy cursed relics. The cursed relics are a double-edged sword. They can help you, but at a risk that half the time isn't worth it. It can ruin and destroy your run. Now with the game having 2 forms of currency, it can be confusing. The gems are acquired from defeating enemies and bosses, which can be used in town to buy things. The coins are used for things inside the dungeons. And in the dungeons, you will find different shops on every level but the boss level. One being the item and relic shop. The items are randomized, and I'm not sure if this is because of the update, but now you can actually see what these items do before buying them, and he will always have a health potion for 100 coin. Now the other shops, those are different. There may be at a time where you meet a guy who will sell you different arcana. I said it right, see? Are you happy? I'm never happy. Whatever, dude. He'll sell you different magics for a different price. He will also have enhanced ones at times. But then there are the red ones, which can be cursed items, which in my opinion, they're definitely not worth it, but you do get a trophy for having more than one cursed item. I think it's about 4, whatever. They appear in your map as a red circle, and there's always a teleporter. Now we will give a short, brief explanation of the levels. Now the levels, you go through 3 different dungeons of varying elements, 2 being the dungeons and the 3rd being the mage that mastered the element. Each time you go through the trials, the order changes, and since you can carry 4 different elements that can be effective against the current dungeon monster or boss, but won't be effective against the next one, makes it pretty hard to predict, but can add a surprising fun factor to this game. Now you're probably wondering who the big boss is and what element does he or she use. Well, he uses chaos magic, basically dark magic, and he is a jerk to fight. I fought him 3 times maybe and beat him only once, gaining my first piece of chaos magic. But the chaos magic has 10 different spells, so guess what? Time to do this 9 more times. So, time for me to get my robe and get right to throwing fireballs at blobs of darkness and hoping I get a crystal so it can help me get more magic to throw at more blobs. I believe I've given enough explanation the best way that I can, so I hope I can convince you to enjoy this game and stay for this Let's Play. Also, I am playing on PlayStation 4. I know it's for the Switch, and I feel like it's the same exact thing, but I don't know, I didn't really research it. I do have a Switch, but I like my PS4 better. So, let's get started.